I got a DWI after a stretch of debauchery and drinking that led me to getting in some trouble prior to that, during that moment as well, getting a DWI, and then after the fact. And I just remember being in that jail cell, and all I could think about was wanting to drink more and more and more. It was my coping mechanism. It was my crutch. That's what I relied on. It's what I leaned on. I was a very shy kid, very insecure kid. And so I used alcohol to loosen up and, again, try to make friends. I just always wanted to make friends. And so I would go out of my way to do stupid things and show out. And I have a brand on my back and a brand on my shoulder when I was drunk one night because I just wanted to be the center of attention. But it was just unhealthy, right? And it all stemmed from not loving myself and not being happy with who I was. And I decided to give up drinking a few months after that.
Folks, we got Matt Worthington in the house, and you got the M and the W. And what I'm thinking is that if you had a logo, it could look pretty sick, right? Do you happen to have your own logo, Matt?
I don't have my own logo.
And I think that it wouldn't be out of the question if you did have one in the near future because of what you're doing, the impact you're making in the greater Austin area. So that's what we're going to dive into today, because you're seen by people that are local to the area, and even those that aren't, as a master networker, a connector. And it's because you have sound systems and processes in place. Like the dinner that I was attending a couple nights ago. That was a freaking smooth sailing ship.
Thank you.
Nice job, dude. So we're going to talk a little bit about networking today.
Yeah.
Michael, let's kick it off.
Yeah. So the first question I have for Matt is something that you always were easy on? Like this, like it came very easy for you to like network with people, connect with people, or at the beginning of your journey was a little bit more challenging, and after years, you kind of like evolved and made it a little bit smoother. What do you say?
Man, I think it stems from being a kid and being very shy and wanting to be loved and appreciated and wanting to make friends. So I did everything that I possibly could from an early age to go out of my way to connect with people and be the class clown or be the funny one in the group so that people would like me. But as I got older, once I turned 18, I started reading books. And one of the books I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And in the book, it talks about making every single person that you meet feel like the most special person in the world. And I took that approach to just about everybody that I met from the point I turned 18 to here I am today. And it's crazy what it does, as the kid who wanted to make friends so badly. I think a lot of people feel that same way as well. And if you can just really sit there and make them feel listened to and heard and loved and make them feel like nobody else matters in the world in that moment during that conversation, then you'll make friends very easily because they will be receiving exactly what you want yourself.
Oh,
dang. So would you say that you've seen exponential growth over the past several years compared to the long stretch? Like, where do you see the most growth for his time?
Yeah, I'd say the most growth that I've seen was between 18 to 21, and then that tripled between 22 and 25. I'm 25 now. And the reason why it's tripled is because I started throwing these events. And the first event that I ever threw was called Austin's Most Successful Under 30. And who was I to call myself Austin's Most Successful Under 30? Because I definitely wasn't. I had just graduated from college, barely had a job in the corporate world. And but the premise of bringing these people together was to be able to showcase what they had going on and be able to give them a platform to share their business, their goals, their ideas, their dreams, again, by making them feel like the most special person in the room and helping them get one step closer to where they wanted to be. In turn, it had a really interesting effect on the relationships that were built. They saw me as the person that could help them get to where they wanted to go, or at least facilitate the connection to the person that would help them get there. And so those events have been really what has helped me exponentially grow. And so I'd say the past 2 to 3 years has been the most growth.
Yeah. So with events, right, most of us have the capacity to throw them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
From somebody that does do this for their business, often I can say that throwing events is like another full-time job, right? Yeah. That's why there's wedding planners for weddings.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you learn the tactical approach to event planning? Did you just get a book and then run that playbook, or go on YouTube? What did that look like?
Man, a lot of trial and error. I think the first events we had 8 or 9 people speak, and we'd give them each 10 minutes to talk. But what you found is whenever there's a lot of people speaking, there's less time networking. So then we started doing events where there was no speakers and strictly networking. And then people felt like there was less of the awe factor. You know, they want somebody up on stage. They want a reason to go to the event. And then we found that it was hard to get people to the events. So we started having vendors make videos and collab with us on Instagram so that there was more of a engagement with audiences all across the board. And so, I mean, it's just been a lot of trial and error. But what I would say, what we found is the best way to throw an event and the best structure is to have 1 or 2 speakers, nothing more than that, to have as many vendors as possible to showcase their business, showcase what they have, and also offer products and different knickknacks to the audience. And then also to allow for a lot of networking and allow for music and fun and play as well. Yeah. You know, you go to networking events these days, and I think there's this negative connotation that networking events are, you know, top button, suit and tie, wear a name tag with champagne glass in your hand. And, you know, there's power in those types of events, but ultimately the ones that are what really attract an audience are the ones that are fun, the ones that allow for that playful energy. And so what we do is we bring in DJs, we bring in comedians, we bring in magicians, and it's unlike any networking event people have come to before. And for that reason, they keep coming back because they actually have a good time.
And let's say you're someone off the street that wants to hit up one of your events. Where do they search? How do they find it?
Yeah, so we hang out most of the time on our Instagram page. It's at Riser Network. You can also go to our website. It's risernation.org. Or you can find me on Instagram at Matt_Worthington. Shoot me a DM. I will give you comp tickets, or I will help you get in the door, you know, sneak in behind the bouncer. I just want you to experience it because I'm very confident that if you come one time, then you'll continue to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
And you've been, so I'm curious, Greg, like what is your take on these events, and how do they differ from other networking events that you've been to in the past?
Yeah, well, I was reflecting on other networking events I've been on, and you hit the nail on the head. They're unlike any other ones. I looked forward to the next one. Once it was over, I'm like, dude, I would do that again. Right? Like, I've done things where I go to a restaurant and I stand up for like 30 seconds, give my elevator pitch, sit down, and then we just talk after that. Right? That's not that much fun. It's not. So the ambiance, the location you pick, highbrow, lowbrow, has an artistic, eclectic vibe to it, which helps just break the ice, gives it more of a party atmosphere. The music that's bumping, again, a party atmosphere. And everybody's having a great time in that type of way. It's way less businessy, but you can still get the business across, right? What's the best way to network? By doing things you love, and who doesn't love a good party?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we find that people really want to have a good time. It's like you work all day long, and then you go to a networking event that is a little bit mundane, a little bit boring, not so fun. It's tough to do that after spending 9, 10, 11 hours at a job that maybe you don't like. And so being able to come and get loose and meet other really just great people has been what has helped us continue to grow in the previous years.
Is there a type of specific market that you guys kind of focus on in each event? And what are those that's been more successful so far?
So we say, come as you are. It doesn't matter where you are in your business journey, whether you just started a business and don't even have an LLC, or you've been in business for 20 years. But what we've found is it's a lot of business owners between, let's say, maybe 2 and 7 years. They're still early on, but they do have a foundation and they're established in that sense. But as far as industries, we have tech, we have finance, we have real estate, we have fitness, we have content creators, influencers. And what is very similar amongst everybody that comes is the mindset. It's the mindset to win, the mindset to grow, the mindset to connect. So whenever I look at the different industries that come, I almost disregard that, because it's, if you have a positive mindset, if you're trying to get to the next level and you have that hunger, that drive, that eye of the tiger, then this is the right place for you.
Okay.
It felt really cool to be a real estate company that was posted up next to an energy drink company.
Well, that's
I was like,
and that's what I was asking, because it sounds counterintuitive, right? Because there are two different markets, and I'm, as a business owner, not interested in your damn drinks, right? I'm interested in, how do I sell more property? I want somebody that has better experience in that area to tell me, right? Instead of having an energy drink company next to my cube or whatever it is, and like, okay, that sounds very counterintuitive, but it seems like it works.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like we thought about that as well. We're like, should we create events just for those in the real estate world, or should we create events for just those in the fitness world or the energy drink world? And we actually got feedback from our audience not to do that. And the example that was painted for us and to us was, if you go to an event with 20 other realtors, like, how much does that benefit you? Maybe you can, share tips and tricks and best practices, but you don't really need to know any other realtors. So instead, like, you go to an event like this, maybe you meet somebody in the roofing industry. You go to an event like this, maybe you meet somebody who has a landscaping business. You meet somebody who has a power washing business. You meet somebody in the trades, which can help you ultimately, and as a real estate agent, I would think, right? So it is interesting, I find it counterintuitive too. Sometimes I show up, I'm like, man, like, why do these people keep coming back?
Yeah.
But I think it's because they just have such a good time and they meet other great people, and they end up finding a new gym to go to, or they end up finding somebody to help them with their marketing in their business, or they find somebody to help them with lower back pain. We have a chiropractor there. So it's like, you just kind of show up and have an open mind and end up meeting somebody that you didn't know you needed to meet, but you needed to meet for some reason,
Yeah. Dang. You touched upon something briefly earlier. You said it's like people with a similar mindset. And I would also say that it's also a little bit of the soul that they bring to their particular industries. And you know that, and you feel that when you walk around talking with people at the Riser events. Like, they're happy, they're uplifting, they're growth mindset type of people. They're not stuffy whatsoever. And it's like, if they were like that, they wouldn't fit in, they wouldn't last long, and they'd be gone. So I don't know, what do you do to help filter through that a little bit? Because you can't get 100%, right? Not everybody's gonna be super cool. You do your best to get the cool ones in there. So how do you do it? What does that look like?
We don't do a damn thing. Man, it filters out itself.
Yeah,
it really does.
Okay.
Every event, there's new people that I meet for the first time that I've never seen before in my life, and they just happen to fit that avatar. I think it just, with time, man.
If you build it, they'll come.
Right?
And that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, by the way, is like, 2-3 guys, friends, and like, let's put ourselves out there and talk about our experiences and bring people that have their probably better knowledge in certain areas that we don't, and see where this takes us. This is, for me, at least for me, it's a journey, right? This is the first time I'm doing this. At the first podcast, everybody was a little bit nervous, but now this is the third one. I was like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
let's keep on doing it. And who knows, whoever sees this out there, maybe, reaching us, hey, we want to know a little bit more. So I think it's the same principle. He opens the doors. Hey,
Yes.
there is an event going on. Bring your knowledge and share it with the rest of us.
And I will say, so I've done a lot of podcasts myself. I've been on a lot of podcasts. You guys do a phenomenal job. It is not easy to come up with questions off the dome and create a space where the guest feels very comfortable and calm. But you guys are both very poised and confident. You do that every single episode. Y'all are going to do great.
Remember that.
All right.
Poised, confident. We're going to write those words down and review them every time before we get on a podcast.
Yeah, put it up on the screen. It'll be a good reminder. Yeah, I mean, the ambiance here too is phenomenal. Lighting's good. Audio's good. Y'all are killing it.
Yeah, we got to thank Greg for that. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary Keller. Love you.
You guys got to get on a pod.
Yeah.
Dude, he agreed to it.
Shut up.
Right before COVID hit. Yeah. We have the emails. Jonathan.
Wow.
Yeah, he agreed to it, and then COVID hit, and then just fell off the way. So
Well, we'll
get him on.
Yeah, we're
Let's ride the road, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Press guitar, play some music.
His door. We're here for the podcast.
Yeah, play music outside of his door.
Yes. Oh, he'd be like, "Where's that trash?"
It'll get his attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a question about the name. Whose genius was that?
Dude, that was not my genius. I'm
Wait a minute.
Riser.
Yeah. Who else is part of Riser?
There's a trio.
Oh.
So 2.5 years ago, I started hosting events.
Yep.
Austin's most successful under 30. I did 1. I did 2.
Yeah.
I did 3.
Yeah.
At the 3rd event, a guy came up to me. His name's Christian Smith. I had known him growing up. And he said, "Hey, I think you're on to something. Have you ever thought about turning this into a business?" Because they were free events, just bringing people together. Again, I read a book. It was called, The Go-Giver by Bob Berg.
Great book.
No,
Givers, takers, and matchers.
that's it, man. And I just said, "Hey, I'm going to pay for the venue. I'm going to pay for the food. I'm going to pay for the drinks. I'm going to allow you guys to speak about your business, what you have going on. And I'm just going to sit back and have a good time." And I mean, that
Spiraled.
it was phenomenal. Like the result of that has just been insurmountable. But Christian came up and said, "I think this is something you think about turning into a business." I'm like, "I don't know if I want to turn it into a business. I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart, just bringing people together and helping them make connections that are going to help them get to the next level." And he goes, "I don't know. I think we should try to build this up and turn it into a true production." So we did it. And as time went on, it turned into Riser, and we actually, branded it and had a name and all that. And then we picked up a third guy, Zach Barney, who's one of my roommates and one of the guys who invests in property in New York that we were talking about a second ago. So there's 3 of us. So I can't take credit for all this myself. Those 2 guys are 2 of the hardest working people in the room, always. And Christian was the one that came up with the name Riser.
Yeah. Home run.
Yeah. It fits, right?
It has to be short and sweet, right? That people can remember.
Nike.
You put it.
Google,
You make a very
Apple.
very long name. People just like what?
Yeah.
What is that? Right? So.
Well, let me ask, do you guys have an idea of what the podcast is going to be called? And if you already do, I apologize for not knowing.
This one?
Well, this one is.
Well, Pivotal Moments podcast, PMP.
PMP.
Yeah.
The shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't read it. It's very small. Pivotal Moments podcast. Yeah, because we generally have a theme. We're touching upon that a little bit today with you. What turning points occurred in your life to get you where you are today?
Man, there's a lot, and it's crazy you asked this question because I was thinking about this on the way here. I'd say the first pivotal moment was when I was 18 and I got a DWI after a stretch of debauchery and drinking that led me to getting in some trouble prior to that, during that moment as well, getting a DWI, and then after the fact. And I just remember being in that jail cell, and all I could think about was wanting to drink more and more and more. It was my coping mechanism. It was my crutch. That's what I relied on. It's what I leaned on. I was a very shy kid, very insecure kid. And so I used alcohol to loosen up and, again, try to make friends. I just always wanted to make friends. And so I would go out of my way to do stupid things and show out. And I have a brand on my back and a brand on my shoulder when I was drunk one night because I just wanted to be the center of attention. But it was just unhealthy, right? And it all stemmed from not loving myself and not being happy with who I was. And I decided to give up drinking a few months after that. And that's when I picked up a book. Like I told you guys, I started reading when I was 18. And that first book was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it just opened up doors to the possibility of what my life could be. And, I went about life still struggling with feeling inferior, less than, and I've done a lot of work to learn where that stemmed from. That stemmed from being a kid and having a dad that was in a wheelchair and he was paralyzed, and I would go to basketball games and I'd be walking in front of my dad and my dad would be behind me pushing into this basketball court, and kids would be like, "Mommy, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he like that? Why can't he walk?" And so I always, as a kid, said, I'm like, "What's wrong with him? Okay, so what's wrong with me? I must be different. Something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong with my family." And so I told myself that story for a long time. And that was part of the reason why I drank. I was shy. I wanted to feel loved. I didn't want people to think I was different. I didn't want people to think that I was a weird kid or I had a weird family or there's something wrong with me. And when I got to about 21, 22, I was in college and I was still showing up in, a way of desperation, just wanting people to appreciate me. And so the way that I coped with that feeling was to work super fucking hard, make a lot of money, grind my ass off, and just have anything a 22-year-old kid could want. I paid for school, I paid for my car, I paid for my my apartment, and I was going on trips and traveling and doing all this just amazing stuff. And during that time also, I wanted to showcase everything that I was doing at such a young age that was, well beyond my years. And so I wrote a book. And as I was writing that book, I was talking about my childhood and my upbringing. And I realized as I was writing about my life that my entire life was about this story of being a victim. And I literally looked at the page and was like, holy shit, like, I've manifested a bunch of great stuff, but also a bunch of negativity because I kept telling myself that I was different. And I'm really not that different. Like, we all have those weird things. Maybe somebody in our family has cancer, somebody in our family has special needs, or somebody in our family, maybe one of our parents has passed away. Like, I'm no different from everybody else. And so that was one of the really difficult things to deal with, was the realization that my identity had been created by this negative self-image that really wasn't necessarily true.
Let's take a quick moment to shout out the people making big moves in real estate, the elite residential group at Keller Williams Realty. With over $90 million in sales volume and more than 300 families helped, they're one of the top real estate teams in Central Texas for a reason. Whether you're buying, selling, or just figuring out your next step, they make the process simple and centered around your priorities.
Greg and his small team have been absolutely crushing the Austin real estate market, producing incredible numbers.
He is always responsive, he's always on point, he never misses anything.
I would highly recommend him for anybody looking to buy or sell in the Austin, Texas area.
Hit the link in the description to book your free consultation. There's a lot of power in reflection. So you writing in that book is a form of that.
Yes.
Did you finish the book?
I did. Yeah. And I published it. And part of the reason why it was the hardest thing to go through was because a lot of what I wrote in that book was almost blame. on my parents for not providing the life that I wanted when they worked so hard to get me to where I was.
Yeah. Were you also comparing yourself at that point with the other kids that had something else?
100%.
Because I remember doing that when I was a kid too, right? Oh, mom, look at so and so. They have a tremendous, huge house. Why don't we have one? Like, we live in a good house, but no, I want the big house.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
messed up.
and that's exactly it. You know, I did that all the time. I remember coming home like, Mom, Dad, Mr. X is, Mr. X, their house is so crazy. They have a pool in their backyard and they have a pickleball court and a basketball court and they have a movie theater upstairs. And like, you should have seen their spiral staircase. And, I look back now and I always wonder like what my parents felt in that moment. I have so much empathy now for them because if I had kids and they came home and they were saying that stuff to me, how would that make you feel as a parent? Would you be happy for your kid for experiencing an awesome day? And I'm sure, but at the same time, maybe you feel like you're not doing enough or you didn't do enough.
Yeah.
That's something that still kills me is like, and now like I do everything in my power every time I see, my parents to tell them how grateful I am and how thankful I am because I have a little bit more empathy for it, as I've gotten older.
Yeah. And you start realizing that the best gift, at least for me, your parents can give you is a good foundation of family and moral values.
Yes.
Everything else comes and goes.
And you can take with that what you want.
Mm.
You can take that where you want.
Yeah.
Rather.
Yes.
Yeah, but if you don't have a strong launch pad, you're not going to have anything to jump off of.
Yeah.
Man.
And then you're going to be struggling in your life trying to build it on your own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to take time, right? Because you never had that foundation.
Mm. I mean, just something as simple as love and support and your parents coming to your band recital or your dance recital or your football game. I mean, not a lot of kids get that, man.
Yeah.
And I had all of that. I had no reason whatsoever to feel that I didn't have an amazing upbringing. And so, yeah, for anybody listening, if you have food on your table, if you have a roof over your head and parents that tell you that they love you, you are well ahead of many, many other kids out there.
Yeah. Especially nowadays, there's a big population of single parents raising their kids, which is increasing on a day-to-day basis, which affects the growth of the child.
Yeah.
Because you need two parents in the household.
Yes.
Right. So if you're missing one of them, that's leading to a lot of struggles for that kid in their life going forward.
100%.
Yeah.
What would you say to that kid?
Oh, man.
Great question.
Great question. I would, if he's in that position where he has only one parent, cherish the parent that you have. Make sure that you understand that your parents still love you and they try to do the best they could while they were married. But it's very difficult to tell that to a child because at that age, it's very difficult to understand.
Sure.
Right? They're confused. They don't have that cognitive understanding of what's going on. They just feel a lot of emotions running through. So it's very difficult to let them know that point, right? Because they're not, at that point in time, they're not interested in hearing that. They're going through emotions, right? And it's very difficult, man. I don't know if there's an easy way to really reach out to that kid, especially if they're very young.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What would you say, Greg?
To the kid, if they're working with they have a single parent.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude.
That's a great answer, by the way.
Thank you.
I would say to them that shoot, and I'd probably get religious with them. Really, yeah. I'd tell them that God loves them, and that's forever. That's infinite. That's no matter what. And again, they may not understand that, but at least it's like sowing a small seed. Like I think that's really the most impactful thing I could ever tell somebody in that situation that really doesn't get it. Because as a kid, put yourself in their shoes. All they want, they don't care, right? They don't care. They just want their parents, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's everything in their whole world. They just want their parents. So trying to reason with that is seemingly impossible.
Yep.
So what do you say? What can you really do? Whew, that's a toasty one.
Yeah, I feel like kids are big on, less words, more action, Yeah. And at the end of the day, they just want their parents there. It's like, you don't always have to say anything. Just show up and continue to show up like you say you're going to show up.
Yeah.
Be there for me.
They're very observant.
Yeah.
They'll give you that, right? They won't probably say anything, but they're observing and making sure, when you're a little toddler, let's say 2-3 years, who you mimic? Your parents, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you want to mimic. If you see, sometimes I remember my brother when he was very young, my mom cleaning, right? And he wanted to take the broom and clean too, right?
Yeah.
So they mimic whatever your parents are doing.
Yeah.
So if you have good structure as a parent and teaching them good manners, they'll absorb that like sponges, because when you're a kid, you absorb all of that.
That's right.
Very quickly.
That's right.
Right.
You're a sponge as a kid.
Yeah. You're a sponge as a kid. Like for me, if I speak 2 languages. So for me, if I would have learned English at a later time, it would have been very difficult for me. And a lot of, I got my friends that moved from Latin America, 20 years ago, and they were in their 20s, and they struggle sometimes speaking, right? That you can see the strong accent that doesn't really go away.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're a kid, man, you absorb everything. I've known people in my childhood speak 3 or 4 languages, but they grew up with that, and you can't tell, man.
Second nature to
them.
Yeah.
Second nature.
Matt, look, let's get fired up here for a second. All right, because you brought up something a second ago. You said you read a book when you were 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about pivotal moments, right? Of course, going to jail, that's like a pretty low point.
Yeah.
And then you bounced up from there. Reading that book, there's 2 really great things that came from it. Change and choice. And they both happen to start with CH, coincidentally. Change and choice. You're an example that people can change. So everybody make note of that. Okay. And then talk about the choices that you've been making, the sequences of those choices ever since then, when you started reading those books.
Well, I'm not going to give another word that starts with a CH, but I'll give you a word that starts with a C, and that is compound. Compound interest. Man, every single one of our decisions that we make today affects our future. And if you can continue to make the most productive decision at every given moment of every day, imagine how far ahead you could get. Just like, instead of waking up and checking your phone right away and scrolling through Instagram, it's like, wake up, go work out. Instead of, after you work out, laying on your couch for a little bit and turning on the TV, go and hop on your computer and knock out some work. Instead of, after you knock out some work, you go and, I don't know, go for a walk and call your girlfriend on the phone, which there's time for that as well. It's like, just go and do something else productive. And I think the choices that I've made that have helped Riser grow to the point that it's at, and helped me invest in properties, and helped me get to the point where I feel very comfortable with where I am in life, is just discipline and compound interest. Just fucking do it, man. Just, I don't understand people who sit around,
Well, we could talk about that all day long, but
Just true.
Yeah, I think it's just how bad you really want it.
Yeah, you can't teach ambition.
That's my point, right? That's where I'm getting.
You can't.
There's people that don't have that drive, man. I have family members that, unfortunately, but they don't have that drive. It doesn't matter what you do, and you try to help them and give them a start point.
Yeah,
they take it and then they throw it away.
Why do y'all think that is?
Dude,
Is it like is it innate? Is it inside of all of us? Like, do some people just have ambition? Some people don't. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true. You know,
it has to do with a lot of things. I think also has to do with the environment you're in at the point in time where you grew up, or things that affected you at that moment that you said stuck with you and you don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
Let's get real biological with this for a second, okay? When you find a couple bear cubs in the woods, and then you approach them, and then that mama bear's around the corner, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
She's going to rip your head off.
Rip your head off.
Because that motherly instinct, okay? Well, let's take humans, for example. Would you say that all mothers act like that all the time with their kids? No, they don't. They don't have whatever that is in them. And sometimes they neglect their kids. But a bear, I don't think a bear is going to neglect their kid. So what is it about humans?
Well, I'll take you. No, not. I don't agree with that. If you look in nature, no. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you why. I've seen this documentary before about how animals, not only bears, live in groups, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain times that the mother needs to go away and find food. And that time that she's gone, she knows there's a chance that when she comes back, those cubs are not going to be there. Because there's another predator waiting for them to be alone and eat them. And sometimes it is the father of those cubs. Because you got to remember that, and people don't understand this, life is not nice.
Yeah.
And life is hard. And people have cope mechanisms to avoid what's really happening in life. Life, dude, the animal kingdom itself is very savage. It's raw. So you need to understand that in the time of need, these animals are starving because they haven't found food. The first thing that they'll find is these cubs, and they'll eat them alive. No questions asked. No, and I'm serious.
Yeah, dude, you got a great point. I'm so glad you watched that documentary.
No, I love animal documentaries because these guys are specialists and they spend like 5-6 years filming this group of cubs or this group of families, and they follow through year after year after year. Because you got to remember, they bear these 2 cubs and then they move on and then mate with another bear and then make the other cubs and so on. That's the cycle of life, right? Right? Because these cubs, when they're grown up, they're going to be independent. And the mom instantly wants to procreate and look for the next alpha male, right? To continue the procreation.
Yeah.
So it's continuous development. So it turns to a point that, it's going to get to a point that some of them will not make it. And that's all with life. It's sometimes, you have somebody in your family that is going to have a baby and the baby didn't make it. And people don't talk about that, but that's reality, right? So back to that is like, that happens in real life.
Darwinism.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm a big believer that adversity breeds success. And when I look at stories of adversity, I, in a weird way, almost feel like people who go through really difficult shit have an advantage in life when it comes to accomplishment, because they have this by any means necessary attitude. If you're provided with less early on, you have to fight for more, and it builds callousing and resilience in life.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I just find this common theme and this thread amongst those who had it hard growing up, who end up accomplishing a lot and being very successful because they kind of have that fight in them, that dog.
Well, whatever. Correct.
All right, go ahead.
No.
Yeah.
And that might be your contrarian belief. I don't know.
No. And I'm going to add to that is they acknowledge that sacrifice that they made at that point in time is valuable, right? If you grew with all the money in the world, anything that you do doesn't have value anymore, right? There's no importance of it. But if you didn't grow with anything and you achieve something that has a value to you, right? It's important to you. You make it your own, right? So I guess I agree with you. Like people that was raised or were born with nothing and they made something out of it, they appreciate that. They appreciate the struggle. They appreciate the achievements. They appreciate the people that they met. All that stuff, right? There's appreciation for that.
Well, what about the Jesse Eitzlers of the world, where their dads are billionaires, and then they become a billionaire?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What about them?
Yeah,
I think I have that story, right? Do I have that story? His dad was successful.
I don't know about his dad, but I know.
Joking about one.
Oh, maybe like the Trumps of the world.
There you go.
Right?
Sure.
Maybe that's
Trump.
a better example.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe ambition is just you just have it or you don't.
But look at
that's a great point. And this would be like a phenomenal podcast to just dive into all that and like, do a case study.
But look at the Rockefellers.
What?
They lost a lot of money, man. Like the line, they're not the same, big family that they were in the 1800s.
Right.
Well, what is that? Well, maybe this explains it. There's a quote that talks about strong men, weak men, something. There's 3 cycles. So like a strong father will make a weak son, and a weak son will make a strong son, or something. Like it goes in cycles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know the quote exactly, but I've watched a video on it before, and it kind of makes sense how, it goes in circles.
It's just like the generational wealth thing, or when it's passed down.
Yeah.
Like say parents pass away and then the kids get the money.
Yes.
And then it diminishes after 2 generations.
Yeah.
All that money.
Yeah.
Spend it all.
Yeah.
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 Until there's nothing left, and then somebody has to rebuild.
Yeah.
The kid who had the life that was hard for him.
Yeah.
Build. And then his son is a little bit better. But if this guy is like twice as good as this guy, then maybe his son's not going to be as well off, and then the cycle just goes.
I'd like to see
I gotta send y'all. I gotta send y'all the quote.
Yeah. How many? Let's say parents are billionaires. What do the kids do? Do 60% of the kids become successful? Do 90% not? What are the stats?
Yeah.
And what about middle income people? What percentage of their kids blow the roof off?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That'd be very interesting. You can add it to the notes of the pod.
Yeah, to the notes. What are you doing? You on Chat GPT right now?
No. I'm looking for the other topics that we're going to talk about. It has to everything has to do with networking. So
yeah. Go out and meet people, man. Just go out and meet people, right? Like, I think a lot of people are afraid to go to things by themselves. But it's so important to go by yourself, because then you don't show up as anybody other than yourself. You don't have your friend to lean on. You don't have somebody else that knows you, so that if you start acting differently than what they're accustomed to, they're maybe judging you, or you're feeling weird because they're looking over over your shoulder like, why'd you just say that, Just get out of the house. Go show up to stuff. Meet as many people as you possibly can. DM people on Instagram. Sit down for coffee. Go for a run. Go to the gym. Meet people.
Let's talk about, and there's a point here that I think that's aligned with that, overcoming rejection.
Yeah.
Because
never happened to me.
Never happened.
Never happened, right?
No.
Because, we're telling people go out and meet people, right? But then how do you respond? How do you respond to that? How do you act upon that? How to resolve internally what's going on at that moment and rejection? Because you got to understand is not everybody's going to like you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, man, what you do. You can do what you did with a kid, tattoo yourself or be the whatever party, but half of them still won't like you, right?
That's true. Very true. Yeah.
Rejection. So, what's your thought on that? Like, what has been your process in your journey to manage that?
I don't think this is the best approach, but for so long, I've been so obsessed with making sure that everybody likes me that I've been more focused on them than me deciding if I like them or not. So what I mean by that is like, I just ask questions. I give them direct eye contact. I learn about what's important to them, what makes them tick. And then I double down on that. And then they talk for hours and they leave the conversation like, wow, like I feel so good about that conversation. That was so fun. It's because you just talked about the stuff that interested them the whole time. And you just kept asking questions, going deeper and deeper and deeper. And not a lot of times does that happen, because in conversation, people want to talk about themselves. And if two people are talking about themselves, then you don't really get anywhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I almost challenge that now. And I realize that I don't think Riser would be where it is now if I didn't have this mindset that I'm about to say. But I think you should go into conversations more with, instead of, can this person like me? Do I connect with this person and their values? And I think that will get you further. It's better to have 10 very strong friends than 100, subpar friends, iffy friends. And so my approach is a little bit different now. And that's what we were talking about earlier, Greg, is I don't know a lot of the people that come to the Riser events anymore. I used to know them very well. And that's actually awesome for me because it gives me the opportunity to go and figure out who those 10 are.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm at the networking event just like everybody else. I'm like, oh, cool. Who am I going to meet here tonight?
Yeah.
And I really just try to learn what's important to them, what they value, kind of what their moral standards look like, and then what their moral compass is. And I think that's a better approach, a more sustainable approach.
Yeah. Because you're right. You don't want to.
We don't want a bunch of energy drink friends.
Yeah, and please everybody, right? The idea is you already know who you are. We talked about that on the last podcast, and I said it. You need to understand who you are and where you're going. And when you understand that as a person, then you can set the boundaries when you have that conversation with somebody else. To say, no, I appreciate this, but we are not talking eye to eye. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
As a person.
Intentional.
It's intentional, but that takes time, right? Because when you're going through life as a young kid and a young adult, you're trying to still figure that out.
Yeah.
And
100%.
Yeah. Until you get, I don't know, I know you're 25, but I'll tell you, but by the mid 30s, 35, you're like, exactly your boundaries, your baseline, and you're not going to deviate for that.
I definitely wasn't who I was a year ago, and I definitely won't be who I am a year from now.
Yeah.
So I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But having conversations like this is affirmation and confirmation that those things are important, and I appreciate that reassurance.
Yeah. Yep.
One thing I'm trained in my business is to come from curiosity and come from contribution when talking with people.
Yeah.
And I think when you come from curiosity, you can gamify your interactions with people, because like, let's say you come across somebody that's super dry and you are vibrant and energetic and they're kind of monotone and just like Ben Stein, right? Well, you can just see that as a challenge and be like, oh man, this is going to be fun. See how I can connect with this person who's the complete opposite of me, right? See what I can learn from them, because that they know something that you don't know. And figuring out what that is, that's the puzzle you get to solve to every single person you speak with.
Yes.
And if that's not fun, then I don't know what is, because who doesn't like to learn?
Yes.
Oh, now that was some hot sauce.
Well, everybody has unique experiences. None of us have lived the exact same life, right? People are innately fascinating, They're very, very interesting. And if you just learn how to ask the right questions, just don't be a freaking asshole and talk over them and just sit back and listen. Yeah, you can uncover some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool stuff, we talked a little bit about the past. We talked about where you're at now. Let's wrap this up with talking about the big picture, because you've got some momentum and you're all about encapsulating that and using it for good So what is the big picture of Riser? What's the end game for Matt? Where are you going? What are you doing? Talk to us about that. What's the why?
The why is to connect as many people as we possibly can and help them get one step closer to where they're meant to be. And Austin is the center of a multi-city operation that we hope to get to. We've had talks with expanding to Charlotte. We've had talks to expand to Arizona, and it just takes time. And I think that as a young person, and maybe just in general, humans are a little bit impatient, and I'm very impatient. And so I'm trying to learn to enjoy the process and trust the process. And until we get our operations and our systems streamlined here in Austin, we will not be moving to other cities.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we can do it right here first. And part of that too is sponsorships. So there's actually a gentleman here in town. His name is Audell, and he owns a company called Libra, which helps event companies like myself find sponsors. So we've talked to Canva, we've talked to Google, and the idea, and Indeed too. And the idea is for them to fund some of the growth. And if we can get enough money to justify moving into another city, then we will hire other people to start to build and manage that city like we have here in Austin. And so, yeah, just taking it one step at a time. We'd love to be all over the country and have little pockets of Riser like there is in Austin. And until then, doing stuff like this, talking about it and getting the word out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can see you creating this model because I'm sure you don't do this for absolute free.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure that with this model that you have, you might even be able to franchise it and have people adopt your systems and processes you've established to be the go-to source for people within this genre. You know, you've established that the culture that want to be seen as the go-to connector people in their markets, in the Dallas and the Houston, the San Antonio, and all across the country. See or no? Maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to value stacking too. It's like, how can you provide so much value that people are willing to pay into a membership model of some sort? And that's something we hope to create. It's like, instead of just having our quarterly events, we also have monthly events. It's like, can we do Zoom calls? Can we do mastermind dinners? Can we do events that are on a smaller scale that are more tailored to a specific industry? If we can do that, we can crack that code, then I think it will be sustainable for the long term. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of creativity involved. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of conversations like this, trying to create more creativity and interest, engage interest. And I appreciate you guys, asking these questions and digging and tapping in a little bit further, because it helps me think a little bit deeper as well in what direction we really want to go.
Were you going to say something? Because I got something burning.
No, okay. I will have to talk to him offline because I want his input on my consultant style business.
Cool.
I've been doing it for a year, but it's been stagnant, man. Stagnant.
Yeah.
And I have no traction. People are interested, but then they fall off the radar. And right now I have a full-time job, and I'm not right now maybe in the position to kind of follow up with people constantly. Yeah. Which I'm not really good at that, to be honest with you. I'm not.
You got to outsource that.
Yeah, maybe I need to outsource that. But, I want to change a little bit the dynamic of, in my case, how men dress in Austin.
Shit, how am I doing?
Well, we can talk about that later. Not a good hint.
Wow.
Not a good response.
And sometimes saying nothing says a lot. Wow.
No. Oh, so what I want to do?
No, I actually need to upgrade my wardrobe. So this is a conversation I want to have.
Yeah.
Something I want to do moving into 2024.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm focused more on the more not business, but it's more elevated kind of style, right? Everybody here is very casual, and that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't want to tap into that market because that's a market that's already covered here in Austin. No,
saturated.
It's saturated, and I really don't have an input about casual clothing, nothing like that part, right? So my idea is to inspire new people to, hey, if you're looking for, I don't know, you're going to an event or you're looking for a type of job, know how to dress for that occasion, or select what kind of colors or what kind of patterns are accentuating your skin tone, things like that. You know? So it's an educational process that I've been doing this on my own for, I don't know, maybe 20 years now.
And this is the consulting business.
And this is my consulting business.
Dude, there's actually a lot of need for this and a lot of power in this. And we need to get Michael out to a reveal dinner.
Wow.
What are you doing next Thursday? We can talk about this offline, but what are you doing next Thursday? You have any idea off the top? November 2nd?
Oh, I'm out.
You're out?
Yeah, I'm in Jamaica.
Hey, my man. I'm going to get you an invite for not the one on the 2nd, but the one 2 weeks after that. So I guess that'd be November 19th.
Okay.
I'll remember. Don't worry.
All right.
No, it'd be the 16th. Yeah.
And then we can talk about marketing and your systems and processes
for
onboarding clients and stuff.
Yeah.
Easy day.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, we could do it all together.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I got to make this point. I think it's extremely important, and I think you're gonna like.
Still burning.
It's burning. It's still burning. Yeah. So what I would say the biggest difference from your approach to networking is that it's an experience. Okay, from the big table setup events to the reveal dinner, which we haven't really talked all that much about. Just know that for those that are listening, a reveal dinner is an extremely systematic flow of an evening that Matt has established, and it's at his house, and it sparks some incredible conversation, and at the end of it, you feel like a different person. You've made 13, 14 friends in an instant, and it's all because it's curated by you, by the way you've set it up. So not many people can do that, can pull that off, can think about it. So if you were to be the leader and people were to tap into those systems, right, they would benefit immensely. So there's your empowerment to keep going on the path that you are, because, man, again, these networking events that are happening every single day all over the world are just flat, and they're not invigorating, and they're stressful, and they suck.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hi, my name's Greg Carlson. I'm a realtor. I'm going to help you buy your little house. Nice to meet you. And then you sit down, and then you're all like, did I say something intelligent? Like, no, it sucks.
No.
The way you do it is like you reverse engineer. I don't know. There's something about it.
Well,
You guys
you're
gotta check
talking
it out.
about right?
Yeah.
It's counterintuitive that we were saying at the beginning of the conversation. He's bringing different type of people to those events that have nothing to do with each other, right?
Yeah.
But like he said, hey, I might need a plumber, or I need a roofer, or I might need, and that guy's there.
That's it, man.
And that's it. That's the secret sauce.
Need a health coach.
Yeah.
Need a financial advisor. Need a tailor. Need somebody to consult how they dress. I mean, it's like, you just meet people. It's crazy. It's almost like you go back to colonial times and everybody had a purpose within the colony.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what Riser is. It's a community of people in different industries that are helping each other live. Yeah.
Interchanging goods and services.
We're going to change our slogan.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barter and trading.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
It is.
In a nutshell, that's what it is.
Maybe that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
Never thought about it that way. Yeah, it all goes back to biology and
Yeah.
years. I mean, we're just doing the same shit we've been doing for thousands of years, just in a more modern and technological age.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Same.
I think you're onto something that's gonna change. It's gonna change America at least, right? Because you're setting up a new like a new category of industry, like a networking event company, right? And it's geared towards creating that experience that you don't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you get into those other cities and figuring out a way to get the people that adopt your stuff, for lack of a better term, that value that you're talking about, because it's there. It's there. It might not be clearly defined, but you're on the path, it seems like. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Right?
I'm fired up about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, as we're sitting here, I think of other community leaders in other cities, and just being able to sit down with them and talk and just say, who's the who's who here, you know? Who's the who's who? And then just start bringing them together.
And going back to that soul piece, right? You're not bringing in sketchy people. We're not connecting with shady characters. No, we're connecting with people that have that growth mindset, that abundant mindset, the people that read, the people that are positive. So when you bring all those people in the same room, you're magnifying the light.
It's where magic happens.
And you're also bringing it, it's where magic happens. And it's also bringing it to like the business world, which we need more of.
Yes.
Because we're in business, how many hours out of the week? A lot more than our family time. Most of us.
Well, I was talking about this at the dinner. So back in the day, Benjamin Franklin would bring together a group of the brightest minds, mathematicians, scientists, philosophers, philanthropists in that area, that colony, Philadelphia or wherever it was. I don't know my history too well, but he would have these dinner parties, and he was doing them for years, bringing people together, having good conversation, trying to solve the problems in the States. And after years of these congregations and these dinners taking place that were invite only, very exclusive, behind closed doors, the Declaration of Independence was made. I think there's power in bringing together people who want to make a difference, who want to make an impact, and who want to change lives.
Yeah.
And it can be literally the foundation that an entire country is built on. And I don't think that's, the extent that, or the direction that Riser is headed, but that is just kind of an idea of what is possible.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. It's trading products and services. That's the core of everything, dude. That's how big civilizations across the world. How do you think the Middle East engaged with the East and China? Right?
Yes.
They had to go through what they call the Silk Road.
Yes.
Right? So all it was trading. I give you this product, you give me this product, or this service, and I give you this service, right? It's the same thing. It's trading.
That's exactly right.
So nothing has changed then.
And what Thomas Jefferson did, he figured out the recipe that created that incredible document.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a recipe. He brought the people together. He had a specific kind of conversation. And then look what came from that. So you're replicating that recipe. And look what's coming from it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here we are.
Wow. Wow. Well, hey, let's wrap it up. It's getting late. It's time to go get some sleep. Why don't you, for those that tuned in halfway through the show here, how can people find you? Let's rip it again with your details.
So Riser Network is the networking company that we run that's unlike any other. It is me, Christian Smith, and Zach Barney. We also have Kim No, and we have Logan James. Those are two newly hired employees. Shout out to the team.
Cool.
You can find us on Instagram at Riser Network. And if you want to find me on Instagram, it's at Matt_Worthington. And our website is www.risernation.org.
Check it out, folks. And until next time, stay fired up.
Stay fired up, baby.
Yeah. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.